ZX-14. Obviously, we know this bike because it was introduced as the Busa killer. This bike was made specifically to take out the Hayabusa, and for a long time, it did its job. This is my 2016, and you wanna know if you should be buying this in 2025. Let's talk about it. Like I mentioned before, the ZX-14 was created specifically because of the Hayabusa. Now, the Hayabusa was created specifically for the Honda Blackbird, but that bike has slept on way too much, and it's actually not even relevant anymore, but for a long time, it really was. Now, if you wanna know how things actually took place, it was the Blackbird 1100, the Kawasaki ZX-12, the Hayabusa, and then the ZX-14 came along. And from the time the ZX-14 came along, the only competition it would have would be the Hayabusa. Well, that was back then at least. I don't know if that's relevant now, seeing as though they have 400-pound motorcycles pushing 200 horsepower. Yeah, I don't think my old girl can compete anymore. Now, if I'm being real, I've always loved this motorcycle. This motorcycle was my dream motorcycle back in 2013, 2014, and I could not wait to get this bike when I got enough money to get it. So at the top of 2024, this was the motorcycle that I finally purchased. And it was a dream. It was a dream come true at the moment. Crazy part about dreams is that sometimes you wake up. I don't regret buying this bike, not even in the least bit. I put a lot of money in this bike to get it as fast as I can get it strictly off a motor, even though I think I get a little bit faster off a motor. Right now, as this bike sits, this bike is pushing 206 horsepower, which even your brand new ZX-14s or your brand new Hayabusas get some parts done to it in flash and tune, and they're pushing 190s. This is at 206. I feel like I could get it a little bit better, but for now, we're happy at where we're at. Now, I have to say that if I'm being completely honest, 100% truthful, the ZX-14 is not the prettiest motorcycle out there. Definitely not the prettiest sport bike. However, when done right, I believe it steals attention like no other. In fact, you probably will see very rarely any ZX-14s at your motorcycle meet. So when I pull up on my ZX-14, I always get attention because people just don't see this bike very much. Even though color scheme wise, it's not exactly what I like. I actually hate the color green on motorcycles, but go figure, I got 2 green bikes now. Now, if I do decide to keep this bike, I am doing a custom paint job, but I prefer this bike in black, honestly. I think the slate gray looks absolutely amazing. I don't really like some of the newer color schemes, to be honest. I think black and slate gray look the best on this bike. Now, if you notice, this bike is wide as hell, which is cool because she's healthy. But with that bike being big, it is 600 pounds. Yes, that is correct. A sport bike is 600 pounds, meaning that 206 horsepower that I'm pushing, yeah, I get my butt kicked by those new S1000s and new ZX-10s. Side note, I got my butt kicked by a ZX-10, so I bought a ZX-10. But anything that isn't set up for roll racing or just has a regular flash and tune, honestly, I haven't lost to yet. Not that I do any racing or anything like that, because we definitely don't do that. Now, a lot of people might be curious about the weight because 600 pounds is a lot for a bike. Does it handle like it's 600 pounds? Absolutely not. The second you get on this motorcycle, you're gonna understand that this bike can handle like the best of them. Well, not the best of them, but it can handle pretty good. Not to mention that this bike redlines at 11,500 RPM, so all of the power is in the mid. It is one torquey beast. A lot of people think that this bike is very comfortable to ride long distances on. It's more of a sports tour. False, it is not a sports tour. They have a sports touring version, but this is not the sports touring version. This is the sport bike version. As that is, it is still a sports bike. It is not the most comfortable thing in the world. It does have a huge seat. However, on longer rides, I've noticed that it just kind of hurts my back a little bit. For anybody who wants to know, I am 5'11", so not 6 foot, but I'm also not like super short. So to me, stock height fits good, feels good, just not on long rides. Now, this bike does come with dual exhausts. I hate them. I absolutely despise the 2 exhausts coming out the back. I think they look terrible. So I did switch this over to a single-sided Brox exhaust, which made this bike absolutely look 10 times better in my opinion. But if you have been following the channel, you should know that if you have to replace the headers, you just need to make sure you have clearance to the oil filter, or else you will have oil filter issues. Now, I told y'all how much things I do love about this motorcycle, and I do love all the things that I mentioned, but I guess I haven't mentioned the things that I hate about this motorcycle. Now, if I'm being honest, the weight is not a problem, but you can tell that it's a heavy bike, and I don't like it. I don't like it. At 600 pounds, the bike is just heavy. This is what it is. It's not much weight savings you can do because all of the weight is right in that motor. It's a big motor. It's a heavy frame. It is what it is. The second thing I don't really love about this motorcycle is that, one, this is a 2016 motorcycle that still has those halogen bulbs. I hate it. And in 2016, a lot of bikes were in LEDs already. This bike was left in the past. In fact, it's been left in the past so long that the 2024 version of this bike is the exact same as the 2012 version of this bike. It hasn't been updated, and I feel like that's one flaw that Kawasaki has with this bike. So if you want a digital tach, oh well. And not only is it not digital, but this bike has no tech. So this bike is, again, 2016, but the 2024s are the exact same. No quick shifter, no auto blipper, no tech at all, no cruise control. You get traction control and ABS, and that's about it. I think Hayabusas might be a better buy. Unfortunately, I know it sucks. Shouldn't be coming from me. I don't want to say it, but the truth is the truth. Hayabusas come with more tech, comes with auto blippers, upshifters. It just comes with everything that you want in a modern bike, and these bikes, even in 2024, have zero. It's just so stupid. I don't like it at all. Now, if this is your dream bike and you're like, I want a ZX-14, that's all I ever wanted, or that's my dream bike or whatever, I can say that you will be happy with your purchase. But if you're looking at a big motor bike thinking it'll be the fastest, look, don't get a 1300 or a 1400 thinking that you'll roll race and be the fastest. The weight is just too much. Even if you push big horsepower numbers, you just got weight to combat. It's just not gonna work. You're better off getting a 1000 and building that. This is probably just an enthusiast bike. It's a bike that if you want a ZX-14, you should buy it. If you don't want one, you probably shouldn't even look in this direction. Do I think it's worth it in 2025? Even though I own one, I gotta say I do not think it's worth it. But I do tell you one thing, this bike will catch eyes and it is still fast, so don't sleep on it at all. Remember, keep it 1K, AKA 1000. Have you liked the video or subscribed yet? Because if you haven't, you're tripping. Remember, keep it 1K, AKA 1000. Y'all ride safe. Peace.